Hi guys! So, a couple of days ago I created this character in here which is actually like the 3D character rigged with Rigify, but I really wanted to give it like kind of hand-drawn look. And I guess I want to tell you a little bit more how I approach this problem. So basically I won't talk much about the topology and the modeling part because like I'm not that great modeler. All I wanted to do is like to keep the meshes rather clean and a little bit more dense in the parts where they bend. Obviously, like the head, it's could use some more additional work, and I don't think I need all this geometry. Probably I could go a little bit lower with the poly count, but from the other hand, I don't plan to export this character to any game engine and anything like that. So and it runs pretty smooth in Eevee in real time, and so yeah, who cares, right? Okay, so maybe let's start actually with the hand drawn parts. I mean, like obviously, like there are like only two actually hand drawn parts in this character. Like the first one is her hair, and the second one is her face. And to to create this animated hair, I used, of course, grease pencil with like material, like slightly modified default material. All I did was like change the style to texture, and I use a texture which looks more or less like this. This is the seamless texture I created a couple of weeks ago, and I'm using it all the time. Yeah, so basically I wanted this animation to loop, so I just copied the first frame like to the frame number 43, and just really it was pretty much I don't know, like didn't had a plan in here, just trying to draw something which looks cool, and I don't know, like I kept on trying, erasing, adding more details, adding more stuff, and when I was finally ready with it, like I added a little bit of noise on everything, like on the whole object, just really just a bit of noise. What is more important that I use the time offset modifier with a custom range set to 42, so it loops just before the last keyframe and the first keyframe of the animation. So it kind of loops right without having to like copy the keyframes or anything like that. It just keeps on looping, right? Um, Obviously, this is kind of flat, not completely flat, but kind of flattish um, grease pencil layer. So it looks good only from this camera angle I'm using right now. So if I would like to go crazy with the camera movement, like rotating all around the character, I would probably have to figure out something else or go frame by frame, which is not the worst case for me because I basically like to animate the hair by frame, and you get the effect which you can't really I don't know, fake with rigged 3D or whatever. Like it's quite a unique effect when if you ask me. So yeah, but anyway, it kind of um, it's not like that you can do a lot of things when it comes to animation, when it comes to this hair. So when you change the camera angle or the body position, you have to at some point would have to fix it one way or another. but anyway, it kind of follows the rig in at least a little bit. I did it like by attaching like this grease pencil object with the child of constraint to the last bone of the spine. In case of default, Rigify rig, the bone is named DEF for deformation spine 006. So both the hair and the face are attached to this bone with the child of modifier. The face doesn't have any animation yet, but I wanted to have the ability to animate it by drawing it frame by frame. So basically, it's surface painted on the 3D model on the 3D object. Yeah, the next interesting part is probably the line art modifier, which creates the outline, obviously. And if you ask me, like, by default, look, because I've got like some modifiers stacked in here. By default, it looks more or less like this, and I like it. Doesn't look that bad, but anyway, for me, it's way too clean. I wanted to keep like the sketchy character for this for this girl here. So what I did, I added some noise, and as you can see, like I barely touched the position, like it's just a hint of the position noise, and way more when it comes to strength and thickness. And I cranked up the noise scale as well to get some like more density when it comes to I don't know if you can call it geometry, but I want to simulate like if those lines would have way more vertices, so I cranked up like the noise scale. But still, there are some parts which I actually didn't like. For example, here it produced like some weird things. And usually what I do here is like I add subdivide modifier before the noise, and it creates some even more geometry, even more vertices for the grease pencil. So yeah, for me this is okay. Like I was quite happy with it. Okay, so maybe none of you know that the line art modifier looks good only from the point of view of the camera. So if I would like to move the to 3D viewport, it starts to look very weird. So unfortunately, it's impossible to, I don't know, like try to export it some way to Unity or whatever. It just works from the point of view of camera. And if I turn on the camera to view option, if I would start to rotate the character, you can see those lines work pretty well. I mean, there are glitches here and there because Blender is trying to figure it out what he should do, like to make us happy. But anyway, it surprisingly it does like pretty good job if you ask me. But it works only from the point of view of camera, as I said. Okay, one last thing which I would like to tell you about are the shaders for the 3D parts. So let's maybe move to the shading. And yeah, like actually like I used only two materials for the whole character. I usually want to keep things simple, so basically in here we got just like two materials, one for the skin and one for the clothes. Maybe let's start with the skin. It's actually pretty simple. Like this is like just diffuse BSDF shader, which runs through shader to RGB node and through the color ramp. usually I like to set it like to constant value. In this case, I actually left it on linear, which is I guess default, and then I mixed it with the same texture which I used for the grease pencil brush, like for the grease pencil material. Uh, it's also like this texture, this uh, pencil seamless texture, and yeah, it's on top of everything, like just mixing with the diffuse BSDF. And one more thing in here, I mean, mm, before the diffuse BSDF shader, I added like the noise texture, which goes through the color ramp. And the reason for that is that I really wanted to give it a little bit more of detail in the parts where like the shadow becomes the light, and I wanted to like the border between those two parts to be a little bit less sharp. So if I'll turn it off, it goes like pretty smooth, which doesn't look bad, but I like to complicate things sometimes, and to so I decided I want to add some extra detail for this part. The shader for the clothes, it's pretty much the same, so it's also like the diffuse BSDF shader, which mixed in that case it mixes with these pencil textures by overlaying it. uh, the only difference is actually I didn't use the noise texture to add this extra detail on the shadow lights border. Um, I think I did it by accident, but I put like, instead of putting here like the noise texture, I put here this pencil texture. So, but like, well, it worked for me. Like I looked at it and I said, well, it looks cool. Maybe I should leave it like that. So a little bit of luck here, and yeah, this is pretty much it. And cool part with this character is that it's much more flexible than, for example, if some of you seen my videos about rigging the grease pencil. Usually, like if you rig the grease pencil, there is a lot of work, additional work, when you need to turn around the character or something like that. You need to be very careful with that, obviously. Here, like, the only part which you really need to take care about is like the hair, maybe a little bit extra attention for the face, but actually because it's just 3D character, you can do it's much more versatile, I guess. And I kind of like the look, so uh, I believe I will create some kind of short animation with this character. Probably maybe today, maybe tomorrow, I will upload some kind of short scene. uh, I actually visited some cool places today, some abandoned ruins and stuff like that, and I made some reference photos. So I will try to create some kind of a background which would fit this character, and yeah, we'll see. Maybe it will be fully hand drawn, maybe it will be like a 3D background stylized to fit the character, or maybe they'll probably it would be a mix of both, like just like with this character. So let's keep in touch. If you want to see the result of my work, probably I will upload it somewhere about, I don't know, tomorrow evening, something like that. So it would be like Sunday. We'll see about that. For now, I think that's all, and have a great evening, and goodbye, guys.